Let's talk about the number one thing that Ben Johnson needs to do as he begins his tenure with the Chicago Bears as their new head coach. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, hit that subscribe button down below. Would really appreciate that. It is exciting times to be a Bears fan, and you don't want to miss out. Posting daily content on the channel. Please hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so let's get into this, all right? I have seen the comments. From you guys. I read every single one of them, and I hear you, all right? A lot of this Ben Johnson hoopla that we are having as Bears fans, none of it is going to matter if Ben Johnson doesn't do this number one thing that we're going to talk about here. And what is that number one thing? What is this first thing that he needs to address with the Bears? It is the trenches. Plain and simple. More specifically, O-line before D-line, but the trenches. And you guys have said this in the comments numerous times. Like, nothing will matter with Caleb, with this team, with, the receivers, with the running backs, with the defense. Nothing will matter if we do not upgrade the offensive line. The offensive line is going to be the biggest indicator for success after, of course, Caleb Williams' play as a quarterback for this team to succeed. And so what Ben Johnson needs to do is right away start identifying how he is going to upgrade this Bears offensive line. Now, I know that is technically Ryan Poles' job as the general manager, but I believe that Ben Johnson can and will tell Ryan Poles, listen, Ryan, right? I came here because I believe in you. I believe in the vision that you have for this team, but you got to believe in my vision, which is I need a great offensive line, a great one. So whether or not we do it in free agency or the draft or both, it doesn't matter. But you got to go out and you got to get me a competent offensive line. It doesn't have to be a star-studded, rock-solid set Eagles, Lions offensive line in year one. But we got to have something to build on. And don't tell me it can't be done in one off season when I've seen the Commanders throw together a patchwork offensive line with veterans and Jane Daniels having all the success in the world going to the NFC Championship game. So don't tell me it can't be done, because it can be done. The Bears need to address specifically the interior of their offensive line. The guys on the outside and Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, we'll see with Braxton Jones with the injury, but they seem solid. It's the interior. You got to go ahead and address it, especially the center spot, which is so important. So whether it be Trey Smith in free agency, whether it be drafting a kid with the number 10 overall pick that you have, whatever the case may be, upgrade the offensive line, because this will be all for naught if Caleb Williams going into year two ends up getting sacked over and over and over again like he did in year one. So it won't be useful. So everything Ben Johnson does, everything he wants to do is predicated on having a good offensive line, because what does Ben Johnson wants to do? What does he want to do? He wants to have a power running game. He wants to use a lot of play action, which you need to first have a solid running game to be able to use play action. He uses a lot of motion. So he needs to have a competent offensive line. So it is possible, people. I just gave you the example with the Commanders. Nobody thought the Commanders' offensive line was elite or even above average coming into this season. They all thought it was at best average, but more so below average. In fact, I thought they were one of the worst offensive lines in football. And it's worked wonders for them this first season. Now, a lot of credit goes to Jane Daniels, of course, but I believe Caleb Williams can go ahead with the tutelage that Ben Johnson will give him, have similar success in terms of stylistically being able to do the same things. Now, of course, not predicting the Bears score the NFC Championship game, but the numbers can be comparable, right? So it's possible. It just needs to happen. Ben and Ryan both need to put an emphasis on it, and that is going to be the number one priority, I believe, in the offseason, is addressing the trenches. So please, before we talk about anything else, let's talk about the offensive line and how we can get to the level that the Lions are with their O-line, that the Eagles are with their O-line. I want some maulers up front, man. And let's get the Lions, offensive line coach in here as our OC. So we have that as well, and Hank Fraley. So yeah, man, this is the number one thing Ben Johnson needs to do right away. I know the development of Caleb Williams is supremely important, and people would say it's at the top of the list, but that development's not going to happen if we don't have the offensive line in place to protect him. So let me know what you guys think. Agree, disagree. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.